Hello, and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 185 for February 23rd, 2016. My name is Rainbow Plasma. I am the organizer and host, and today I'm joined by...
Burndo1, the special guest coordinator.
I'm Flutterguy317. I'm the media manager, and this week, the editor.
And I'm Atmospark. I'm Questions, and I'm doing the DeviantArt.
I very nearly almost said my first name for some reason. And during the intro, I was like, what do I say? Who am I?
Maximoplasma.
I don't know who I am. I don't know. It's been a while since I've used my
Plasmus
username.
Maximus.
I also changed my username on Skype, so it's now my real name because I have to talk to real people. So
Gross.
Oh, real people.
I'm now used to seeing my own stuff as typed into Max.
Speaking of real people.
Oh, yeah.
You're back.
Hey.
You're real.
Oh.
You became a real boy, Ted. I'm so proud.
No, we have someone who's waiting in the corners that we should introduce first
Well, I was
before
going
I
to
go
introduce
on.
you, but
I didn't see over there.
Because he's a real person.
Yeah, we actually have a
Really,
special
though?
treat for everyone on the podcast
I've never
today.
met him, so he could just be digital to me.
We don't have full proof of that.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us, CaptainPudgeMuffin. It's nice of you to be on the show.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. In fact, I'm gonna need $20. Like, just really. Like, I know we should probably shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah,
on the
our
show, but
sincerest
just-
apologies for what we're about to subject you to.
You say
Yeah, no apologies. I mean, no apology necessary. I don't know about that $20 though. I mean, you're Canadian. Do you even?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's fine. It's only like $2 your currency, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
Just look under your couch.
The only currency I got is these guns right here.
Guns aren't a currency.
I don't know, Ted. America's a weird place. Sorry, Pudge. I said we wouldn't get into politics.
And then first thing we
too
do,
late.
right?
Yeah.
So, as I was mentioning before, Ted is back from
Yay.
PonyCon. Nyuk.
Nyek.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was weird. It was weird con. Technical difficulties con. Strange con.
I heard that you basically lost lights most of the day.
Yeah.
Like lights would go out.
I think
and you were in some sort of weird.
My
hallway.
favorite part was
no.
the Snapchats. You go on,
Yeah, the
though.
Snapchats.
You go on.
No, it was in this like it used to be an opera house.
Yeah.
So it's like very Victorian, and like there's pictures of like half naked people on the walls, and like it's all like I know.
A
and
wrought
this is
iron
kid-friendly-
elevator.
Yeah, a wrought iron elevator that was very scary that I didn't ride in because I was too scared
Aw.
of. And, yeah,
The horror elevator,
Gross.
dude, it's the best part. It's like the attraction ride. You get in it, it's like...
Yeah. Well, Celebi Yoshi, aka Dawnfire, aka Kate, and Russ, aka Zap Snapples, rode in the elevator for me.
Yeah,
So-
they sent me Snapchats of it, and they're like, "Oh, look at the doors closing," and then it like closes and goes, and they're like, "Ah!" And, like the Snapchat ends.
and then it drops. No.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, that
So-
certainly sounds interesting.
Yeah, and the artist alley. Well, the like the vendor hall was broken up into two sections. One was upstairs in like this greenhouse / patio area, and it was like full of light, and there was a ton of natural light, and it was really nice. And then the other part of the vendor hall, which is where Kate was like completely dimly lit. Like none of the people who were doing commissions could like see what they were
The dark
drawing.
Victoria
so
art
it was
room.
like the moody part of the art alley.
Where you
Yeah.
had to light your commissions by candlelight.
Yeah, exactly. It was
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah.
Can you?
And the weird thing is, like, I helped them set up, and like, during setup, the lights were definitely brighter than during the convention.
Weird.
Like,
Like I said,
That would have
mood
been
lighting.
cool. Yeah, exactly. Mood lighting would have been cool to be there.
yeah. Also,
weird.
let's see what else was weird.
Can you tell me?
They wouldn't.
Go ahead.
They wouldn't let us bring outside food into the venue.
Oh,
so,
that is weird.
Yeah. And they didn't actually have food there until the last day. And the last day they had food that was like $12 for chicken nuggets.
Nice.
So it was
Yeah,
like,
it's
wow.
really weird. Vendor
We,
housing.
I
How many
think-
nuggets do you get?
I don't know. I think we almost got a guy fired actually because like we talked to him and we're like, you know, some friends of ours are like vendors and like we need to get food for them because they can't actually leave. And he was like, okay, yeah, we'll make an exception for you. And then like on the last day, he's like, I can't make an exception for you. Like my boss is not happy, and it's like, oh god.
Well, that sucks.
Sounds like a place that shouldn't be hosting a convention.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real awkward.
My one complaint is that is the venue really. They should move it elsewhere next year.
Can I ask you something though?
Yes.
Can you please tell me about the creepy stuffed horse? Like,
Oh, yes. Well, yes, I can. That was when we went to go set up for... actually, no, that was when we went to go get our badges. There was just a creepy stuffed horse out front.
Good.
And I'm assuming that it was like part of like a restaurant dealio thing. I don't really know. It was like behind some sort of like maitre d' podium kind of thing, and it was just there. I don't really know.
well,
Good.
all I know is that was the
Yep.
most interesting Snapchat that I ever received.
Yeah, it like this entire place had a very like murder mystery kind of vibe to it.
That's what I was about to say. Like, at some point, did someone disappear and then nobody just played along? Like,
we thought that Nadnerb had died actually at one point.
there you go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Turns out he was the killer and he died.
What's that board game? Like Who Done It? Like Horse Edition?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who done it? Horse edition.
All right.
But the
that's
the
cool.
con itself was fun. I got to meet Lauren Faust. I have a picture with her.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I got to see Lena Hall sing live, which was really cool.
I don't know who that is.
That's the voice of Rara.
Oh, of course I know who.
Oh,
that is.
cool.
Yeah. She's a Tony Award winning actress or something. Yeah.
What was that? How did what?
What would you like? I guess she is an actress, yeah, but
Yeah.
she does plays.
I believe the
Her
term
gender is
is
nondescript.
vote till actress.
So yeah, that was my
theatrist.
experience, and I'm back now
Yeah, welcome
from
back.
that craziness. Oh, also Brooklyn was kind of weird. At least the part that we were in. It was like half run down like car dealerships and stuff, and like half like really swanky like hipsterish restaurants.
Well,
So yeah,
this is certainly the most interesting con experience we've ever come back and talked about.
yeah. It was something.
Interesting.
Not all
I had
of them
fun,
can
though.
be 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I had fun though.
Yeah, well, I guess at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Well, we're not going to chatter anymore because we've kept our wonderful guest, Mr. Captain Pudge Muffin, Mr. Dr. Captain
We
Pudge
said to get that
Muffin.
out of our system. I really had to ask about the Snapchat horse. So weird.
Professor
the
Dr.
horse, yeah.
Best Muffin, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's my-
Yeah. No, it's
I'm
good.
sure there's a master in there as well somewhere.
Yeah.
But we'll forego formalities right now.
Maybe let's start with just Professor, Dr. Mister, and maybe when we get to know each other a little bit farther, we can add more titles onto that.
And don't
What
forget
about-
the captain. I earned that rank.
Yeah.
So Captain Pudge Muffin is a guest on this show, but he also falls into the category of a friend that we have. So I guess that leads to
I
a
don't
bit of
like
a
him.
different interview.
Whoa.
So to give, you know what? Instead of me giving a backstory, because I've talked for 185 episodes approximately, why don't I let you, Mr. Captain Dr. Pudge,
Esquire.
Mistress, why don't you describe how you met all of us, excluding Joel, because you met Joel today. But
Yeah,
how did you meet all of us?
I've seen Joel in my dreams, of course, but
Right.
I've never had the pleasure of.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah. I spoke with Byrne first because I knew. Actually, you know what? My first time ever meeting you guys, I didn't even know who the hell you were.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. Ardale
It was- I
introduced
met-
us, right?
I met Byrne and Max at BronyCon the 2013, and that was back when I had just hit 1,000 watchers on DA, and nobody knew me, and I just kind of lurked around BronyCon, and on the last day, you guys are walking around with a camera.
Was it
and a
me and
microphone.
Max? Or
No,
like
it was
me
me
and
and-
Was
yeah.
it Ted?
Was
Yeah,
it 20,
'cause-
if it was 2013, then I wasn't there.
It could have been
Yeah.
me and
I-
Matt.
I'll be perfectly honest. I only remember Byrne, and I don't think it was you, Ted.
It might have been Mahauer,
I
actually.
think Mahauer was following me around. Our friend
That may-
Matt,
that-
because like I was dragging him around, making him carry my camera while I do dumb stuff.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, I met Byrne in his swanky freaking purple vest.
Yeah.
And I'm
It
like,
was a
this
black
guy-
vest,
Did he have long hair at the time?
silver.
No.
Black
I'm
vest.
sorry. It was a black vest and a purple shirt, I should say. Sorry.
Then that's got to be 2014.
Oh, this is lies. There was the blue ties that you're thinking of, like.
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
blue-
It was 14. It wasn't 13. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
then
Okay.
it might have been me.
It might have been
because I was there for that.
Let's just say
Someone,
that
Bernard
Bernard is
and
the
someone.
only one that really caught my attention.
You know what? That's totally fair. Have you seen his vest?
What, like,
Yeah.
from my recollection, there basically like we were going to check out the music, and you were taking photos of a bunch of people just to like be kind. And it was like some friends of yours, and like Ardale was there. And it's like, oh, Ardale, like meet Ardale's like, hey, Burn, meet CaptainPudgeMuffin. And I was like, who? Like, I didn't know you were like, I don't think I followed you on DeviantArt at that time, you know, like, because we didn't know each other, and then we like kind of formed like, oh, hey, you know, what's up? Like, gave each other the bro nod, you know. You had a camera, I had a camera.
Yeah, we're about the same height. Seemed like a pretty cool dude. Don't want to touch him though. That'd be, you know.
I really wanted to touch your pecs, but you know, I resisted.
Have you touched his pecs though? They're insane.
Oh yeah, no,
They suck you in.
absolutely.
It's not.
You made me do the thing where like you made me put my fingers between your pecs and you squeezed them, right? That's the thing that happened.
That's how you met Burned.
We'll get to that.
So that's how you met Burned.
So and then it wasn't until like 7 months later after Brandon had like latched onto my leg like he does.
Yeah.
And I love him, but like I like collabed with him on one pick. I've collabed with Vice on DeviantArt on one pick, and like he just would not let me go. And it ended up turning into like a huge romance between the two of us. And then Burn got tossed into that, and things started getting really steamy. And then we went to BronyCon.
Best summer nights of my life.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Yeah, so you went to BronyCon in 2015, which is last year,
in 2015, and I was looking forward to meeting Burned again and Max and Ted. I was not expecting Ted to look the way Ted looked. Your voice is very demure.
An adjective.
And
your looks are very striking.
Yeah, and you looked very striking. I was like, wow, this guy's a bro, but he's a total sweetheart, and I love him. And then Max was even more so, or just as much so as this is in the competition, I should say. Sorry.
It's just the complete opposite. Like I sound intimidating, and then you get to know me, and you're like, oh, that's it. Ooh.
And then I'm like, oh, these guys are awesome. But like the first couple of days, you guys wanted nothing to do with me or Brandon
because we didn't know you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, which I understood completely. I guess he and I really didn't look the part of your usual.
You were too attractive. It was daunting.
Horse cuddlers.
Yeah,
totally.
we were nervous because like, you know,
we didn't know you, and
we were flirting with you, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I could definitely feel it, but I was being all. How do you pronounce it? Tsundere.
Yeah.
Or Tsundere or whatever.
Tsundere.
It was all blushy. Yeah.
So yeah, you met us at BronyCon.
I met you at BronyCon. Yeah.
And we
And
eventually end up hanging out a bunch at BronyCon, and
you know, I say you guys wanted nothing to do with us the first day, but like you didn't have a choice. I think because like Burn
we were
would
really busy for the record.
Yeah. We all went to we all went places together every single day. Now I think of it.
Yeah, we still did go places together. That is
Yeah.
And to be fair, like the first night we kind of like bonded over Vice drinking.
Over dinner.
How many of those Apple Washingtons?
He had 3
Washington
with like a total of like 4 shots of different kinds of alcohol in each one.
Yeah. So basically, we met and hung out at BronyCon. Although you met Burned beforehand. I remember that the first time that I heard your name, because when we got to BronyCon, I had heard your name before, and I'd heard it come up a number of different times. And by that point, I was like following you on DeviantArt, and I remember that the first time that I ever actually saw your art was in an art piece called "The Princess of Mood Swings." And I don't remember what this was on, whether or not this was on Reddit or EQD or something like that, but I remember seeing this and just thinking that it was so hilarious. I remember passing it around to a bunch of my friends, and I believe that was when I started watching you, and so I did know of you beforehand. It's just I hadn't quite met you in person.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure if anybody else met you or heard of you through this art piece, or whether or not it was like another one. But this was definitely the one that I saw first.
Yeah, I think this is my first one as
well. It was a different one for me, but I can't remember which one it was.
I think
it wasn't this one.
I looked up your name earlier because of we had casually met at BronyCon, and then Ardale had dropped your name, and so I think I went and looked you up after that fact. And then there's like, but I had been following you for a long time. I just forgot about it. You made like a cute picture of Rainbow Dash or something, and I was like, this guy, like, he gets me. And I've been following you since then. But
Yeah, I mean that comic, and usually the big kickers are usually comics that bring in a lot of people, and that's usually how you initially will get people.
Right.
So I'm honestly not surprised because like I remember that one was kind of a real big Kickstarter. I was still kind of getting a feel for how I drew things, and that one kind of launched me a little bit there. So
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean,
Yeah, it's good.
Twilight smacks Rainbow Dash with her tail.
there you go.
Jeez.
that one actually stirred up quite a bit of controversy on the Tumblr
Oh, yeah.
side of things.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean most
Controversy
people.
in Tumblr, you don't say.
Most people were like, it's, you know, I get it, it's cats, you know, because that's what it was based. I mean, surprise, surprise. Those mannerisms are based off of cats. Is that especially the tail smack? And but many people, or not many, but a couple people, I won't name names, did not see it that way. And
They saw it in a bit of a different light.
it was I believe the phrasing was like encouraging abusive relationships, pretty much.
Ouch.
like, wow, I didn't
That's what
realize
being in
that
a
was that
relationship with a
deep.
cat is.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Clearly never had a
two of them.
relationship with a cat.
Well,
I have two of them, and they're being jerks right now.
I remember it's an amazing thing to read descriptions sometimes, because I remember I saw this and I thought it was goofy, and then I remember I read the description, and in the description you mentioned alternative title Twilight the cat, and I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That's
clicked.
totally like a cat. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. The other one that I think brought in a lot of people. You were mentioning that your comics bring in a lot of watchers. You have another one, Excessive Nuzzles, that you mentioned. That really helped kick off your popularity.
Yeah, that one got put on the front page DA, which prior to it, I didn't actually know DA had a front page. I just kind of I just kind of lurked on my own page and the pages of other people. But it was it showed up on the front page and what was trending, what was hot, quote unquote, and
That's cool.
I went from like 3,000 to about 4,500 in a matter of days, and it was like a sudden transition because like I was low key enough where like I didn't get targeted by trolls and such, but that one brought in quite a few like in like a matter of days. It was actually kind of funny,
Especially something with like the front page of DeviantArt, it brings in all kinds,
yeah.
because it brings in the kinds
people who don't want to see
who
ponies
aren't,
and stuff
who
like
aren't
that.
looking for
Yeah.
ponies. So.
And I actually wasn't. I mean, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I actually was not too thrilled that it got there because that's exactly it. It was made for people who like ponies. It wasn't made for general consumption.
I didn't ask
and yet
this.
it was. Yeah, exactly. And it was put in a situation where it was brought to the attention of people who did not want to see that kind of stuff, and they were not happy about that. Which they can go bite it if they're that worried about it. I don't-
How was the cat enthusiast reaction to this?
It was on the positive side. Yeah, people loved it. People still love it. I love it. I mean, looking back at your older stuff is never all that fun.
Right.
But I do enjoy the poses. Those turned out pretty well on this one.
Yeah.
So, all of this stuff that we're linking here, the mood swings one, the excessive nuzzles one, when you think about things in the grand scheme of how long the fandom's been going on, even how long we've been doing this podcast, the successes that you've had and the journeys that you've had with art are fairly recent, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like this one here that we're showing on the screen, the Success of Nuzzles, that one was less than a year ago. That was April 17th, 2015. So was that a case of, sometimes we see artists who spend years and years and years and then one thing launches them and all of a sudden they're there? Or was this a case of you kind of picked up art at a later stage and just kind of in the last couple of years you've been kind of experimenting with it?
Let's see. The Brony fandom is what really got me into digital art. I was always an artist. But I was more of like a realism artist, portraits,
Right.
still frames, that kind of thing. And I picked up, and like I was a Brony became a Brony in February 2012, and then I didn't start drawing.
Oh my god, me too.
That's interesting. Like all of us were at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't start drawing until the beginning of 2013. A full year came and went before I really started doing it, and I was not good because I had no experience with digital art, and I was not used to drawing in a cartoony style.
Nobody ever is the first time.
Yeah, and it took me probably a year because by the time, I've been a full year of drawing and like on really low key, and like until I hit, it was in October before I hit 100 watchers.
Right.
So like a solid 10 months before I hit 100 watchers, and I really wasn't drawing all that often at that point. And then in December, I started kind of kicking it into high gear, like, I want to make something of this. And by the time I hit BronyCon in 2014, I had 1,000, and then in 2015, I had just this last BronyCon, I had hit 5,000. So it's been picking up over the course of a year, and
Right. So that
even more
that
so
year
now.
in between in between BronyCons, that 2014/2015 seems to be kind of a big year for you.
and it's been just been kind of picking up that steady pace since then. So
Right,
it's
right. And do you think your kind of your skill and your comfortability with art has kind of like solidified itself in that sense, or do you think you made big strides in that time, or was it just kind of like luck of the draw?
For the most part, yeah, I just had to solidify a style and get my own way of drawing, and that honestly still needs a little bit of work. I have trouble with humans still because I just don't do them that often.
Right.
And I could definitely, my ponies need some work, but like in that year, yeah, I definitely started solidifying a style. I'm liking it a lot more these last like 4 months than I have in the last 3 years. So like
right.
I think I'm finally like starting to
Hit your stride a little
hit
bit.
my stride there. Yeah, it's starting to pick up some steam. Yeah.
I've noticed with a lot of artists, they'll hit that point where suddenly something kind of clicks and they go, okay, well, we might actually have something here. I'm no longer just doodling in it, and I look at it and I go, meh, like I've actually got something that I'm kind of proud of, and everybody kind of hits that point at a different time.
What prompted you to switch to traditional rather than digital?
My computer went out.
Ah,
I had a massive electrical surge take the whole thing out, and
That's one way of doing it.
so I didn't have a choice. So I until I built my new one, which is what we're running on right now, I just went back to traditional, got some ink pens, got some paint, and went to work.
Do you
and
prefer
honestly,
it?
I kinda. The results are a lot nicer and a lot cleaner, and it's a lot easier to edit in digital. It's a lot more natural and easy, and so I can do it a hell of a lot faster when I am on traditional. It's just a lot.
Right. Or you've got that one-to-one feedback, right? So
Yeah, I respect your drive though. Like computer blows up, like nah, like I'm still doing stuff, and like you were still posting stuff with like your tablet, right? You were like snapping pictures of it.
I was just snapping pictures of the tablet. Yeah, tweak the color contrast a little bit and then post it. They were not the best, and if you screw up, it's there forever.
Can't stop the ponies.
Ponies must go on.
I remember that at BronyCon you were actually doing some traditional, and I remember you talking about the fact that you wanted to like learn how to do that and get better at that, and you were really practicing hard at doing the traditional stuff. Did your computer go out before or after BronyCon?
It was before BronyCon.
I see. So it was practice through necessity.
Yeah, I had no choice. It was the only thing I had going for me there. I think there's a helicopter flying to the hospital over my head.
That's all good.
But
someone's died of cuteness again. They saw one of your pictures and they got.
How dare they? We're trying to do a podcast here. But one of the major reasons for that was Bern. You'll remember this. Glacier Clear, Addie.
Yeah.
When she flew out with me, and I had known her for like 3 months before this, and that girl has some serious skills.
Yeah.
Like she can draw so fast and so cleanly. It is ridiculous.
Cray.
I was just like, she's better than me, and I can't let this happen. So I either have to kill her or I have to surpass her. We haven't gotten to that killing stage yet, but there's still time.
It's like Highlander, right? You absorb her skills.
It's like there's only one. I have to either eat her.
Lightning just shoots out of her body, and you can draw horses.
Draw it. Exactly. And she's very good. So watching her in person and online just go at it, I was like, okay, she's been doing this forever. All she does is draw. It's just what she does. So I need to try and step my game up a little bit, because I was at a stage there where it was just taking me forever to do really much of anything. And, it's weird. Sometimes drawings just you get it, and you're sketching, and it just all comes together and so smoothly and so quickly. And then other times you do it, and you just have to redraw a pose over and over again, and it's just exhausting. So I was getting tired of that. I was like, this shouldn't be this hard. I've been doing this for this long, so I just need to stick with it. Get more practice in.
So one of the traditional series that I really enjoy that you did is your Pudge's Pretty Pouting Ponies pieces.
That's a lot of pee.
A lot of tongue twister pee-edness. But you did these, and then you did like kind of an auction for each of them.
Yep, I did.
Do you want to talk a little bit about like what went into them, and like, because they're so dang adorable.
The first one was Rainbow Dash, just because I have this strange compulsion to draw Rainbow Dash.
No, we didn't notice.
No, I didn't really notice that.
as a pouting, blushing little butt, because I love her. But I'm like, let's do a series. 'Cause I think somebody asked for like a Pinky or a Fluttershy. I'm like, let's just do the whole thing, because it's I'll do them all. And what I tried to do with them, if you line them up, if you line them up correctly, I tried to like rotate them as they were going, like Dash being on the far end on the right, and then as they went along, each one would turn a little more until I think Rarity was the one on the other end, like facing the opposite direction.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And then and then Pinky was in the middle, Twilight being the one right after Rainbow Dash. Like I tried to rotate them, it didn't work out too well because they all kind of varied in size, and I wish I could redo Applejack because I don't really like how she turned out. But I did enjoy it. Like you'll notice their pose, the cat sitting pose.
Yeah,
is one of my favorites to do. I'm a total hack for that. That's all. If I can throw that in there, I'm going to. I need to mix it up a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely one that I did there. And I also like the fluffy chest too. I like to like throw a little arch in their back and have them puff their chest out a little bit. It's very prevalent in Twilight.
Here, just throw that piece up on the screen.
Yeah. So I was interested. You were mentioning these kind of tendencies that you have to draw cats and chest fluff and stuff like that. Were there any inspirations for your style in particular? Was there an artist, or is it just kind of like, is this just comes from your head?
Inspiration wise, not at the start. Nowadays I'll look at other artists that I really, the other artists that I really enjoy, and I'll kind of try to mimic their painty styles. But as for inspiration for the chest fluff and the cat thing, not really. There's not a whole lot of artists that do that that I can think of.
So it was just kind of something that you came up with based on.
It's,
I'm assuming what you enjoyed.
See, I have a huge. I am not a really. Not really a social butterfly, not really an open dude in person, but like I have a huge soft spot for cute fuzzies,
right?
And the ponies were very much my kryptonite. And I was looking at all these art. That was the first year I was in the fandom. I was looking through all this art, and it wasn't cuddly enough for me. I was like, I didn't want to just like, because you'd see pictures and they just kind of be laying on each other. Like, I didn't want them to just be laying on each other. I wanted them to like fit together like fuzzy puzzle pieces, like they kind of squish you and they kind of like melt
Form
into each
to
other
your
a little
body.
bit.
Yeah.
Like they actually looked like they would feel soft, and it's like, okay, you know what? If nobody else is gonna do it, I'm gonna have to do it. I have to do it. I had to like.
So you introduced us to the cat pony, you monster, because they're so adorable and they kill people from hungs all the time.
Yeah, I know every single time that I see one of your pieces on Reddit or something, the comments are always like, "Oh, I'm dead. Dead from cute." Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
You have a
killed
very
me.
like exaggerated cute style about it that's like just meant to like reach into your heart and like grab it a little bit, and it's like, I've got you.
It took a while to get the hang of that. In all honesty, like I said, my first couple pieces are kind of almost realism pieces and not even really focused on ponies, but like I started picking that up, and it, like I said, they were not good early on, but as I've progressed a little bit, like it's time for me to do another like group cuddle picture, because like it's been a long time since I've done one of those, and I want to see how it turns out now that I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
Speaking of group cuddles and fuzz and all of that, you introduced us to this character called Avery Softequine, who is your OC, and is also group cuddles. I particularly like your cutie bug.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my own.
Yeah, except for the butt.
Except for the butt.
Yeah.
That's the real kicker right there. Yeah, I assume you guys are aware or are privy to her name.
Yes.
Her
Yes.
her punny name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I needed it to be perfectly blunt. I needed a mouthpiece. Like I mean, I didn't want to use Rainbow Dash and Twilight for like everything. It was because I'd end up like warping their characters so completely that they weren't them anymore.
Right.
I had to, so I made an OC, and I made her just a total
Fuzzbutt.
Yeah, exactly, just a total fuzzbutt. Like she cuddles, and that's what she does.
Right. So you can kind of use her as a representation of yourself, and not kind of like change the characters too much.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's an interesting point, because I know some people are a little bit more comfortable doing that, because it's almost like they make new characters of their own. A lot of the Tumblr blogs, right? They'll start out by like, it's this character in this situation, and slowly it kind of turns into their own character, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I guess like I can kind of see where you're coming from, where it's like I still view these characters as their own individual characters that are separate from me. So I can totally understand, and you did a really good job. I really enjoy your character's design. I like the little touches in it. You evidently, even if you haven't necessarily watched it, you subconsciously agreed with the ideas that we put forward years ago in our OC episode, when we dictated to people what makes a good and bad OC design, because you you have a really well designed OC. So I got to give you credit on that one.
I like her color scheme. That's honestly why I picked it. Like I like the blues contrasting with the reds, and then I'm not really a big fan of like bright purple fur or like anything like that. I'm just she doesn't really. She looks more like a cat than she does a horse, but
right.
That's kind of the case with all of them. So
I like her little hair clip too.
Yeah,
that's cute. Cute touch.
An accessory.
Good accessory. Matches the eyes.
Yeah, I had to throw a little more blue in there. Yeah, that was the point of that.
That's good design. That's well thought out design. So perfect.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up this comic because she's in it and she's adorable.
That's where you introduced her, right?
No, I think the first one I introduced with Avery was let's say let me just go here and find it real quick. But it was just a traditional piece that
was it the one that Joel linked before?
I think it was
what
we just linked.
Yeah,
it was actually one where I think she just said, "I'm a fuzzy mouthpiece," and then she said the word ass.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Avery, and I'm a fuzzy mouthpiece, and then I just said her in bold print, just yelling, yelling obscenities, and that was her first introduction. And then I started throwing her into those pics because I wanted to flesh her out a little bit more.
I see.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Also, I have a question about this piece. Is Dash getting poked by Twilight's horn?
No, I tried to layer that over so it wouldn't. Like she's just using the top of her head, and then the horn is gonna be like right in front of her face. Man, I love Unicorn. I love Twilight, but it's hard to make her in like snuggly situations.
Yeah.
With the bone dagger on her forehead, you know. Like,
I was gonna say
It's always a dual-headed sword with unicorns. You know, it's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Well, there was
It's,
that Unicuddle piece that was just unicorns.
yeah, it was that was a risky one. I had to be very careful where I placed people on that one.
Someone's gonna get poked.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you unicorn horn? Like,
you gotta
Asking
count
for a
it,
friend.
Ted.
yeah. No, it's
that
just
type of show,
you
Ted.
draw like really snuggly cute pieces, and those always seem like big pokey objects. Like I'm sure it comes into play like when you're drawing the piece. That
Oh,
you
yeah,
have to be
yeah.
very careful with it.
Yeah, like on a recent one I did called Nuzzle Fuzz. And I'll link,
Good
I'll
name.
link that
Names,
here.
though.
Yeah, I know.
The names,
it's totally sappy. I'll link that real quick. But it's like I had to have Dash on the bottom. I had to. I couldn't put Twilight doing what Dash is doing because like she would be dead.
Yeah.
She'd be skewering Dash.
Right.
It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So,
I mean
yeah.
that does make sense. That does make sense.
Yeah. I was sitting waiting to link that one because that one's pretty awesome. Like just in terms of like quality of like stuff they've been making, like the lighting on that one is just like it's tops.
And like I said, that's one of the more recent ones, but I'm actually starting to like myself a little bit. Like I like that one a lot. I know I usually don't like my own stuff. That's
But,
the
like,
down. Go
Now
ahead.
that you got your computer and tablet back, you know.
Yeah. That's the downside to like, you know, I chose to make this stuff because nobody else was really doing it the way I wanted it done. But that kind of makes it so I don't get to enjoy it as much. Like,
Right.
when you're the one who made it, you've been staring at it for hours on end. You know, from sketch to finished product. It's just like it kind of loses its punch.
Right.
So
yeah.
so when I actually like my own piece a little bit, it's actually it's a treat.
It's kind of like
So-
extra special. Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very rewarding, you know.
Yeah.
it's interesting because when I look at these pieces, you know, I'm reminded frequently that on
That I
this
hate you and I'm
particular-
jealous.
No, I'm reminded that frequently on this show we often don't get to kind of touch on a lot of the art pieces or genres of art pieces that we all might enjoy, but just don't necessarily apply to the show for whatever reason. We've talked many times about the fact that we often go for big landscape pieces with lots of detail, not necessarily because we think they're better, but just because there's more to talk about there. But I think this is a really good example what we've been talking about for the last 10 minutes or so, that even in these pieces where they're a little bit simpler at the end, there's still a lot of thought put into them. You're mentioning like the horn placement and like you want to make sure that the characters are still kind of in character but your own thing, and all of these kind of complexities that go into it. It's quite interesting to hear because I think that there's a certain impression that we give off sometimes in our show that we only enjoy certain art pieces, but as all of us have described here, we're all really big fans of this like silly, cute art as well.
Yeah,
and
just-
so I'm glad that we get to represent it a little bit more through people like you.
Cool. I mean, yeah, I actually voiced my concerns to Burn. Like, I don't know what you guys are going to be able to talk about. Like, I don't have any sweeping landscapes or anything like that.
Plenty.
Yeah. So,
Trust
yeah.
me.
But yeah, no. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one because it's. I mean, my pieces probably aren't really more about like. I mean, some are, but most aren't really about like the grandeur of the piece. Or more like, I'm trying to kill you.
It's a little bit more of an emotional, like you're going for an emotional reaction, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going for a specific emotional reaction that's kind of hard to describe in the same way that you can analyze a landscape, right? How can you analyze the feeling that makes your heart hurt when you look at
These
something?
flowing waterfalls are like the depth of my emotion.
My ultimate goal was to make it feel like you could like reach, if you were able to reach through and like feel the ponies, like they would be incredibly soft.
Like this one.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this
Like
one,
that
I
one,
want to talk
exactly.
about for ages. There's nothing really to talk about on the show, except for like right now.
Well, it's such an interesting angle there. Like it's so It's so, but it makes sense, right? Because that's absolutely something you'll see in life, especially with cats.
Yes.
But that's such an interesting angle to choose on a piece.
Yeah, and I was intending to do like you've seen like GIFs and such where they'll have black bars on the side, and as something moves, it'll give it'll move over those black bars that would represent that would in your mind represent a physical boundary and kind of gives it a 3D effect. I was kind of gonna do that with the little bit of hair, or little, what is that called? Little
hair swoop.
Yeah, little hair swoop. I was gonna have one behind that to kind of make it pop a little more, and I was gonna try to do some depth blurring on her tail and butt, but it just wasn't really gonna.
You should make it stereoscopic. Make another one slightly off.
Yeah, actually, I could do that too.
That's not a bad idea.
Just to give you a bit of an illusion to help with that. But yeah, it was a cute pick, but originally it was just practice with perspective. So I was just trying to get a hang on that.
Do more of it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, two of your favorite things, right?
Yeah, two. Yeah.
Pinky and perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about this one. We've talked about it on the show, but it was a while ago, and I still really like it. And it's different to everything else.
Oh, cool.
Did I feature that? Because if so, then I knew about his art long before I started following him. Then I think
somebody
one of
featured
us
this one.
did.
It's in our favorites because I'm an arrogant.
I think it might have been me, which is weird to me because now that I look at it, I immediately recognize it, and I scrolled down and I was like, "What year was this?" And it was August 5th, 2014. So I guess I lied earlier when I said the first time that I saw your stuff.
We featured it, but it doesn't mean that we featured it when it was made. Like, I think when we featured this one, we featured it maybe in 2015.
Oh, really? That would make sense to me. But I know for sure that if we did feature this before that other one, I didn't I didn't make the connection in my brain that this piece was made by this person, so that when I saw the other one, I didn't recognize it. It's such a I'm looking through your gallery right now at around the time that this one was made, and it was such a departure from the other stuff that you did. It seems to be very, very different from all the art pieces surrounding it. Was that intentional?
I mean, every once in a while, I'll just get this little because like I said, I used to do a lot of more grand pictures and just kind of classic artist stuff landscapes and war scenes and yada yada yada, and I just wasn't doing any of that. And every once in a while, I was just I just want to draw something pretty, with a lot of different lighting angles and a lot of effects, and I wanted to get some practice with shading on Lyra. And this is an old piece, but it's still all right for the shading. I could do some work, but
I think especially when you look at the surroundings of the piece as well, this one really does stand out to me, for the time in which you were doing it, right? You were less experienced, you hadn't been doing it as long, and this one kind of, to me, comes out of nowhere. And we've talked sometimes. I like to talk about this concept a lot, that with artists that I see a huge amount of potential in, they'll make these art pieces and they're pretty good, and then out of nowhere, bam, there's this big one where their quality suddenly improves a lot. And to me, that really speaks to an artist with potential. And every single time I find an artist who ends up being really good, you can go back to their gallery and you can find the moment in which there's little moments where it's whoa, this came out of nowhere. And it's funny because when I look at that here, that reminds me a lot of that. It reminds me of kind of a moment in which you went out of your way to really push the quality up just for one art piece, and it showed how much potential you had, and I think that's super cool.
There was, when you're drawing, there's a lot of times where you kind of fall into a rut, and then every once in a while you'll push it a little bit, and something will click,
right.
And you'll just oh god, that looks good, that's the way I actually want it to look in my head. Right. All right. And if it sticks with you, you keep doing it in further pieces. But yeah, there'll be little epiphany moments, just almost seemingly randomly when you're drawing, and you will all of a sudden rapidly improve. And when I can tell you, this was one of those moments. And then, but looking back, it's funny because when that was at the time, that was the best I had,
Right.
And then you look back at it and it's oh god, yes.
Fast forward a few months and you're making stuff like this.
Yeah.
I really, really like that piece, and it's funny because I'm actually in the description of this because this is right around when like we kind of became friends, and I was razzing on you.
I see your angle burned.
For the specific like volume of characters in your gallery, but nah, I was just giving you junk. But I actually really, really like this piece.
Yeah, I remember you were giving me funk because I had quite a bit of Twi and Dash and sometimes Twi Dash in my gallery.
Yeah.
And I took, and I kind of took you sarcastically. I'm like, oh, he wants more.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure it wasn't you took me sarcastically. You were like, "Oh, he says this, nah, screw you, Bert."
I love
it was
the
purely out of
description.
spite.
The description.
It's like, oh no, you just never notice,
His exact words: "You don't have nearly enough Twilight or Rainbow Dash in your gallery, Pudge. You should totally draw nothing but them from now on. Boy, my goatee sure is scraggly and goofy looking." Sounds exactly like Burned, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Words out of his
I mean,
mouth.
I can see him saying that.
Absolutely.
That's way too good. Was your goatee scraggly and goofy
Yes.
looking?
Like,
I mean, I
let's
guess
be
that
honest,
answers
all
itself.
goatees are scraggly and goofy looking.
Yeah, that is true.
My chin hair is beautiful.
This is coming from someone who currently has a goatee.
Yeah, yeah.
They're scraggly and weird.
Yeah.
Try to deal with that.
Ooh, have you thought about adding goatees to ponies as more fluff?
That was a great direction to take this
I'll
interview
be
in.
perfectly honest with you. Like, though Burns' icon is kind of cute,
Yeah.
the goatee is really throwing it off for me.
You can just get out of this call. All right, this interview is done.
gone.
I regret having you on.
Bird's gone.
We'll leave.
All right. So you were mentioning, Rainbow Dash and Twilight and all that kind of stuff, and as much as those are my favorite two main six, so I certainly have zero complaints about that. But I do have to say, when you do go out of kind of the norm and you draw other characters, I really enjoy seeing a little bit of variety. And this one isn't quite full variety because it's still got one of the characters, but the art piece Bubble
That's what I
Pirates.
was
I
gonna
remember
link.
looking at this art piece, and just going like, this was shortly after I started watching you, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why I watch this person, because this is awesome. And I
Twilight's the
particularly love
absolute best
Twilight's
face.
little face. As many people will know, I'm huge into expressions. I love facial expressions, and it's just a great little like menacing look that she's got there. I love it.
I mean, if you look closely, I actually did get Rainbow Dash in here as well.
I know, it's yeah.
I have a habit of like throwing Rainbow Dash and or Twilight or both into each picture, like either
do you
into
call that,
like the way of clothing or like just background stuff.
It's like rubber dashy. I think.
Yeah, rubber
Dashy.
dash. Yeah, rubber dashy. Yeah.
Rubber Dashy? You're
This
the
was
one.
also
Bueno, squawk, squawk.
this was a lot of this was kind of one of those breakthrough pieces. Yeah, like with mainly with the shading on Celestia. Like
Yeah,
Like,
it looks great, the shading.
yeah, that one I definitely put some time into. Like a lot of my pieces that are a little more simply I've gotten very impatient in my older age as I've gotten along. I'm in my original first couple paintings in this thing. I was really starting to get used to digital art. I spent like a month or two on one of those paintings, and I just kept putting layer over layer of digital paint on, because I didn't know how digital art worked, and didn't know I could just tweak whatever layers I had. But whereas nowadays, if I don't get a piece out in a period of like 24 hours, I get antsy. But like I find my best works nowadays are ones that I will sketch them out. I will do the line art. I will do the base color and maybe a little bit of shading all in one day. And then like I'll sleep on it, and then I'll come back and I'll shade it the next morning, the next day if I'm free. Just because I'm rested. I'm not getting impatient to get it done. I can take my time with it.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Where if I try to push it out in a day, by the time I get to the shading, I am just like, oh my god, I need to get this over with.
Ain't nobody got time for this.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah. So this is one that took me 2 days. You can usually tell the difference when I've taken my time on something, and by taking my time, I mean like less than around 48 hours.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of time, but like,
Right.
yeah.
I'm
Still
totally
part,
for
though.
that.
The fact that the shading is like violet, like like pink.
Yeah.
Like all the shadows and stuff. This is the A+.
This was about one of those times when I started. I discovered the multiplied layer. That would be thanks to Vice, thanks to Brandon. I saw that happen in one of his streams. I'm like, oh my god, I've been shading with like all wrong. Like, all my life.
just with opacity, yeah.
So yeah, exactly. And then I started shading with like desaturated purples and blues and throwing some different lighting. Like she's got white, yellow lighting on the back and pink on the other side. Like on different angles. Yeah, I love throwing them on different sides like that.
Those blending modes, though.
And Celestia has a great beard, so I mean, it's not quite a goatee, but you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close.
One goatee could have been a goatee.
Bert, I think you need to do that in more art pieces. Like,
just put a goatee on everything.
No,
my thing.
no,
my call to fame.
No, just like go around and comment, be like, it's good, but it needs a goatee.
9 out of 10, lacking goatee.
Yeah.
Like every other CAC episode we make, that'll be my critique.
Yeah.
It's like, by the way.
Oh God. When have we started?
So I wanted to bring up this piece because we are kind of getting short on time, but I wanted to make sure this gets featured because it is an absolutely adorable Twilight who's looking at the viewer and says, "Who are you calling cute?" And she is, of course, cute.
I bet Joel, you probably like this one a lot because this is another perspective piece, right?
Yeah, I do like it.
No, another one of those top down
And,
ones.
and she looks like a cat.
Yeah.
They always look like cats. Right?
You don't say.
Do you actually have a cat?
I not living with me now. No, I had cats from the day I was born to the day I left home at like 19 years old. So like I went into withdrawal for a while there.
I see. That's
when
why.
And then when I moved, that's when I started drawing them because I had like no other way.
I completely understand.
Yeah, I had to. I had to. It was like I've got nothing else.
Civil will tell
I
you I
gotta
was
get my
obsessed.
fix.
I was in the same situation.
Yeah.
I had one art piece that I wanted to bring up really quickly because again we are running up on time. I think everybody's kind of getting their last art pieces out.
Sure.
Now, I know that you can't take full credit for this one because, to be fair, you're not the exact designer of it, but I did really like your depiction of this haircut. As someone who has a great weakness for short, messy kind of haircuts that look like this, I immediately, after that episode, I was like, I can't wait for all of the fan art of this awesome haircut. And I really enjoyed your take on it. It's so sassy, it's so like confident, and it's exactly what I envisioned when I saw that kind of crazy haircut.
I don't remember this at all.
I am a total sucker for girls with short hair. Like I'm
High five!
weak at the knees.
Yeah, definitely high fives all around. But I was definitely gonna comment on that too. Like this piece, like you gave her like the short hair, the punk look. I'm a sucker for the punk look, and like I know you like putting like short hair or like tied up hair on like what is it, like Rarity or Applejack or whatever. You know, put like the little bow and stuff, or bun rather.
Yeah.
That stuff's always like A plus arena.
Short hair bros unite.
Yeah.
Where's this piece? If we can find this.
But anyway, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed your take on it. I think you got, everybody can draw the hairstyle, but I really enjoyed the way that you took her kind of personality, her look, and just went with that as well. You gave her this look of sassiness, and it's like it matched the hairstyle, and it really kind of completed the image, and I thought that was a really awesome thing to do.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff happens by accident, almost. Like just I think I had her smiling originally, and then it just didn't look right. I'm like, this isn't something not right here. So
got good instincts, man.
I kind of gave her like a just a very standoffish, like whatever.
Yeah, like not too sassy, but just like just so you know, like I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't need to rub it in your face, but like we both know.
It's because she's above that.
Exactly.
She's above rubbing it in your face because she's better than you.
She's above that, and she's also above you.
Yeah.
Like physically, she's a princess. She's kind of taller.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, alicorns.
Joel, was there one particular art piece that you wanted to bring up beforehand, or can we go to Burns?
Just all of them.
All right, well, let's just quickly
there
go
is
through
one,
all
but
of
it's
them
not really
together.
appropriate.
All right, Burns, why don't you go with the one that you wanted to end on?
I say there's a good one to end on. I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit about it, but I really enjoyed this piece.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm also a sucker for the self-portraits.
Yeah.
I look almost nothing like that, and I think.
I mean, you're blind,
because
so at least
Yeah.
you know.
there was some confusion. Most people thought that was Eminem, Slim Shady. And I had to, and it was actually tagged that on Derpy Burrow. Like, there was some debate like on every side it was posted. So apparently, I captured Marshall Mathers rather well.
Oh, I see.
So are
but-
you Slim Shady, the real Slim Shady?
you know,
Are you the real Slim Shady?
I mean, I would stand up, but the mic would catch it. It's a little too loud.
Yeah.
That's good.
But,
That's good.
No, that's okay. Just take a seat.
Yeah. Nah, this one I like. I literally, this is like one of the fastest ones ever. I just like threw it out there. But I did like this one quite a bit. I drew this at like 4 a.m. And I was
So
in
good.
desperate need of sleep. And yeah, it just kind of, because what was going on was there was like this. It was almost like a meme, like just like a very very centralized meme, like on my DeviantArt, where like people were like, "Dude, you love butts." I'm like, "No, I don't. What are you talking about?" And then I started looking at my pieces, and like there's just there's just fuzzy tushes everywhere, like, and I look at my journals and I mentioned it, and I'm like wow, and I thought of like what I found like the cutest and most attractive feature on a girl, and like, oh, it's definitely the butt, like.
There you go.
And
I imagine there was like a camera and it like zoomed in and it was like, oh my god.
My eyes just went wide. I'm like, I have to draw this, but like it's like self-fulfilling prophecy almost, like, because I was very much in denial, and I still kind of am, but like I feel like I was kind of pushed into this, like. I didn't.
Nah, man, you weren't pushed into it. You were born to draw fuzzy butts.
Yeah, like,
Can I introduce you to the Butt Master?
Hello. Nice to meet you. One day you'll embrace it. You'll be in denial for years, but one day you'll embrace it.
Yeah.
I can teach you. I can take you under my wing. It's a very oddly shaped wing. It's all right. It's all right. Young. Oh, what's the Japanese? What's the younger version of like?
You were gonna go with like butt Padawan or something.
I was trying to think of like, because like senpai doesn't work because I'm senpai.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what the younger version is, but you can do that.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of it either.
It can be butt.
The only piece I would like to mention was like one of the more recent ones was Mellow Marshmallow with Rarity.
Yeah.
Cute.
Oh yeah. This is a great one.
I don't know why. I just really liked it.
Those eyes, though.
Yeah, I love drawing like Dash and Toy are probably my favorite characters. But God, I love Rarity, dude. Like she's in the show, and just drawing her. Like I used to hate her hair. I mean, I still kind of do. But like if I can get the right angle on it, her hair is so much fun to do.
Yeah.
We were at PonyCon NYC. I saw Tony Fleece had a live draw, and he was saying that in the beginning he hated drawing Rarity because of her hair, and now like she's his favorite character to draw because of the hair. So
it's very much like just a really bad addiction. Like like you do it because all the cool kids are doing it, and then you're hooked.
Yeah,
like
Rarity, the new street drug.
This was inspired by another piece. What's that? I can't remember the artist, but it's like Rarity, very cat-like Rarity, where she's kind of nestled down into the sheets.
We
Testament?
featured that, I believe.
I think you have featured it. Yeah. I saw that one, and I just loved like the top, kind of like the looking down when she's all nestled down into the cushions. I went for something a little more mellow, but like,
I like a marshmallow.
I remember that piece because for the first time in a long time, everybody was talking about one pony art piece.
Yeah, exactly.
I got messaged it like 5 times. Everybody like was posting it everywhere. Like I didn't get this came out of nowhere, but I absolutely know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I love that piece. I mean,
it was good. It was good, and this one's great as well.
Yes. So I have one question before we wrap up. Who is best ship?
Best ship?
Yes.
Well, I mean, my default answer is probably Twidash, but there is an artist on Tumblr that goes their channel or their blog is called Rary Dash Doodles, and it's just a very simple cartoony style. She doesn't really do very many colored works, but like her art and her comics are just so cute, and honestly, like anything with like. Just like Pouty Dash with like a flirty unicorn is just my cup of tea. So like that one's pretty good. Twidash is my default. Rary Dash is good, but I mean maybe just a little pinch of or I'm sorry, Rary Jack, I should say, is my other one, and then maybe just a little pinch of Rary Dash in there.
Yeah.
What? No Brandon Burn shipping?
Well,
I mean, only if I'm in the middle of it.
Can I say
you
that?
can't leave me out.
Pudge Burn Brandon OTP.
I was gonna say
Look, I
Vice
have
and
a
Pudge
picture at
OTP.
BronyCon. I got a picture at BronyCon that ships the three of us, excluding you, Burns.
You're not fair.
Also, by the way, I'd like to say, thank you for participating in our ship contest, but you were actually wrong. The best ship is HMS Victory. So, sorry, we're going to send you home with a prize. Really,
I'm just happy to be on TV. It's okay.
You get a free T-shirt. It's not a complete loss.
Yeah.
It's great. I wish that you realized that we were filming video and that you weren't quite naked the entire interview. But
I actually am only in my boxers right now. It's hot.
that was more information.
Now
than
it's
I
an
asked
interview,
for.
boys.
Great. Well,
that makes two.
I'd like to thank you for coming on. We had a really great time. I really enjoyed interviewing you. So thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us for the last hour.
No problem, guys. I hope to see you at a different convention sometime later.
You will
Not
see
me.
at BronyCon if you come down to BronyCon. You'll see all of us at BronyCon,
Yes.
except for
Sweet.
Joel.
Yeah. Oh, there's always that.
Unfortunately, the
There's always a
Australian
little
is
asterisk.
not willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to come see specifically you. I know.
Yeah, I know he's selfish.
I mean, right?
Wasn't
I should start a
Just
Kickstarter.
stingy.
right, So it's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for coming on, and it was wonderful having you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
Like your face.
we are going to do our plugs, but quickly beforehand, if people want to follow you, where can they find you?
CaptainPudgeMuffin.deviantart, and then that's probably the only place that is safe for work to follow me at.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's a good place to follow. I will say I do like having one centralized location. As much as it's nice to have like 8 different places in social media and all that kind of stuff, he says before he lists off 8 different things for our plugs, it is kind of cool to have one centralized location. I do like that. So I got to respect you for that.
So speaking of cons, actually, which cons are you planning on going to this year, so that people can look for you at them?
Gotcha. In May, I'm going to Midwest Brony Fest. Ted may be there too.
I'm gonna try.
With a couple artists, and then I'm going to BronyCon. More than likely, that is a month and a half after Midwest Brony Fest. But I don't have to fly to Midwest Brony Fest, so I should be able to afford to go to that one as well. So I'll probably be to both of those ones. Burned. When is Everfree Northwest?
Everfree Northwest is in May 15th.
Oh, Jesus.
Or wait, no, March. May?
Like right on top of the other one.
Yeah,
I'm going
maybe
to.
March.
They're all like right in there.
Yeah,
so
so
it's-
probably not that one.
Yeah, middle of May.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, probably just those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No BabsCon, bro?
I don't even know where BabsCon is at.
San Francisco, bro.
Really? Isn't it Babs from like New York?
Manhattan,
Like,
yeah.
Nah.
like
Let's not
Babs
bad
Seed?
about details.
Okay. It's just a pun because Bay Area
Oh,
Brony
okay.
Convention. Get
No,
it?
that's-
Like
Bay Area
Bay
Brony.
as in BAE, or yeah, I'll
Bay,
stop talking.
Bay
I
Area
appreciated that, Ted.
Brony
Thanks.
convention.
Yep.
It's a convention that starts with an S.
Gotcha.
All right, we gotta do our plugs now. So Joel, take that away.
You can find us at picado.tv/CuteArtCrusaders, CuteArtCrusaders.deviant.com, CuteArtCrusaders@gmail.com, YouTube.com/CuteArtCrusaders, CuteArtCrusaders.tumblr.com, Facebook.com/CuteArtCrusaders, and at CuteArtCrusade on Twitter.
There you go. I really do feel bad because I just was like,
Yeah,
God, I
right?
hate it when people have got like 8 different things.
Yeah, and then we do.
Ah!
Yeah.
And then we do. So I had one more note to mention before we leave. As some people might have noticed over the weekend, there was a journal that was put out on our DeviantArt page. That journal had something particularly shocking, I'm sure, for a lot of people to look at. And that was us talking about the end of our podcast, the end of Cutie Art Crusaders. We're not going to talk about it this week because it's kind of a lot to talk about, and we haven't really decided on a final date yet, but we have an idea of when it is. We've got a couple things planned for that kind of thing, but we thought it would be a good idea now that we're kind of winding down to the end of the podcast in the next month or so to let you guys know, so we just don't stop making them and leave you in the dark there. So
don't panic.
If you'd like to learn more, we're going to be putting out more on our DeviantArt page. You can go there and check out the journals. Something that I thought would be really cool that we're all going to try to do that I haven't told the guys yet, because I thought I'd just bring it on the show because I'm a jerk like that.
Wow.
I thought it'd be really cool for all of us to each write our own individual journal on the Cutie Art Crusaders page, just talking about the podcast, kind of talking about our experiences, maybe why it's ending, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have more information over the next month to talk about kind of the end of our podcast and that kind of thing. So, we're sorry if you're disappointed and all that kind of stuff, or sorry if you're a bit confused, but we're going to try to put the information there. So if you'd like to learn more about that, head on over to our DeviantArt page, cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com, and look forward to next week or the week after when we'll flesh out that thing with a little bit more detail. But for this week, that is everything.
Yeah.
So I'd like to give one more shout out and one more thanks to Captain PudgeMuffin for coming on. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you, Pudge.
No problem, guys. Love you all.
I love you too.
And do we have anything next week, guys? Or is it
I'm
just a regular
trying
episode?
to get someone on, so it might be another special guest. We'll see. He may have post-con sickness from PonyCon though, so it all depends on how he feels.
Okay, so we might have another guest next week. So just a heads up there.
Yes.
Without further ado, though, that is everything for this week. Thank you guys for watching and listening, whether or not you're on live stream, YouTube, or anything else. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
My name's Burned01.
My name's FlutterGuy317.
I'm Atmospark.
Do it, Pudge. Do
And
it.
I'm Pudge.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
Alamau.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey Ted, I muted myself on Skype, but you can still hear me in the recording. You're a pretty man. Yeah.